Okay, for this lesson, I'm talking about spelling for kindergarten, and basically spelling is the most essential step for children at this age. They need to know these skills to read and write, and so this lesson is really focusing on the pronunciation of like letters in the alphabet along with their corresponding sounds, examples of words that start with these letters, spelling and pronunciation of sight words, recognition of sight words, as well as the spelling and pronunciation of words and sounds around like a possible classroom or an everyday room. So those target learners are kindergarten students. Basically, at this age, it is kind of hard to integrate technology into their classroom because these students are very like teacher based, and so the technology can kind of be minimal and like needs a lot less guidance for them to figure things out. But hopefully so I decided to utilize PowerPoint and the audio clip feature in PowerPoint mainly. So basically, for the first learning objective, students are identifying and learning their letters and sounds. So the teacher is going to create a slideshow of a letter, and then they're going to have a sound bite or like an audio clip on each slide that the students will press, and it's going to have the teacher saying the letter and then its corresponding sounds. And then the student is going to create their own sound clip, basically repeating the same thing as the teacher did. And then they're also going to be asked to, in that sound clip, include words that start with that letter. And so then the teacher's going to be mainly looking at if the students were able to pronounce the letter and its sounds, as well as their example given. And so it's going to be rather interactive for the students because they're going to be listening and repeating, which is very helpful for students at this age. Students are going to be identifying like words with long and short sounds. Some letters have both. Letters with long and short sounds, and some letters do have both sounds, so they're really going to have to be looking for that in the pronunciation. The students are then also going to be looking at sight words. So on a PowerPoint, the teacher is going to have a list of sight words, so like maybe one word per slide, and then they're going to include an audio clip where they're going to go through the list of words and talk about the letters and sounds. So this part's going to be rather passive, but then the student is going to be inserting underneath that letter of the word on each slide. The student is going to include like the letters, the sounds, an example, different places you might hear it, and so they can really organize that in like writing or in pictures, because all students learn differently and their representation might be different than others. They're going to be thinking about where do they hear these sounds and letters in different words in different places, and so really the teacher's going to be looking at their completion of like the slideshow. And then the students are going to be thinking about other words and sounds, so they're going to use this knowledge of letters and sounds to look at other words. And so a huge thing for students at this age is the different 5 stages of spelling, which is precommunicative, semi-phonetic, phonetic, transitional, and correct. And so this will really help the teacher assess kind of what stage these students are in and how much help they require. And so the students are going to be listening to an audio file that contains the teacher saying words, and these words are going to range from classroom item, everyday words, important words, etc. And then the students will create a voice memo or like an audio file of them verbally spelling the word, which they'll then share with the teacher that they will be assessed. And then the student is going to be walking around like whatever room they're in. So if this is like an online classroom, maybe like the room that they're taking the class in, or in the classroom at school, and they're going to put like a picture of an item that they want to talk about. They could even just use pictures on the internet, and then they're going to create a sound and like an audio of them saying these words, like spelling the words and saying them. And so the teacher's really going to be able to assess like what stage of spelling they're in. Maybe they can't spell these more difficult words, but maybe they're right there. Maybe they just need to add a few more letters or sounds into it, and so the teacher can really see like where the students are at by listening to their audio files.